If there is such a thing as an unconfirmed fact, I'm willing to bet that one of them is that whatever is on the screen, a kid it will want to watch it. It can be a movie, a TV show, cartoon, sports, porn, basically anything that isn't news. A kid will be watching it going, what the fuck is that? Sometimes this leads to shows that you see as kids and then you find out no one talks about it. Maybe you saw it late at night and were worried that if you stared at it for too long, Nightmare Grim Reaper would jump out of the screen to kill you. Or maybe you were sick one day from school and decided to watch it as a distraction from real life Grim Reaper slowly trying to kill you. Wherever it is, shows can sometimes be aired and not be lost, but still manage to disappear from most people's conscience. One of these shows for me is a show called Ought to Be Good. A show that is so forgotten, I can only find one other review of it. Even then, is this even a review? Time to review Ought to Be Good. I think I've talked about this show before. Hey! What the hell are you doing? I mean, we cannot have any like talk about this show. Oh, come on, one fucking some random autistic kid in fucking Florida. Now why don't you go shut the fuck up? Oh, now lay on me for 4 minutes. Ought to Be Good is about the car-populated town of the city of Otto. Probably one of the most generic names for a themed city. That'd be like if the city and food fight was called the Land of Eating instead of what do they call it in Food Fight? Marketopolis. The series' main goal was to teach kids life lessons. So there is a physical possibility that this show stopped a kid in a skull t-shirt, holding backwards hat, blowing up a public cash register, or because it was the late Eddie working it and the coupons were expired. As you can probably guess, my stupid kid brain and thought this was a car show. But sadly, you won't see any of the famous Cars characters like Lightning, Mater, Luigi, Doc, Red, Pedo Van, and Rich Koskowski, and Chick Hicks. To make up for it, the series follows not one, not two, but 7 main characters.
Shut up and take my money!
Unfortunately, most of them can basically be described with one character trait, which probably the most stretched out of them being EJ, but we'll get to why that is later on. All we really know is that he's the stand-in for the troubled youth character. There's Izzy, ED, a basically harmonized version of Tales from the Sonic Says sorts.
Hey Sonic, wait for me!
Dummy! Yeah!
The Professor is standard genius, who, like most standard genius characters, makes an event that will cause an explosion. Bonnie, the cool radical car, where there's all kinds of crazy shit. Miles, basically the opposite, as will probably die of a car heart attack if you give him a word longer than 12 letters. Derek, sort of like the peacemaker guy. Franklin, kind of just there to explain the lesson and to inform us that there was a fucking car. World War, or eat your heart out. Oh, shit, sorry, Rena. whose only character traits I can remember are that she's athletic and Hispanic. And finally, Callie, a Valley girl. And you know what that means. Initiate the god-awful Valley girl accent!
Yay! You get to go home today. That is so awesome that you're better already. Are you sure you don't need me to help you get home?
Yeah, it's very clear that Callie's voice actor just can't do the fucking Valley girl accent. Like, you naturally hear this actor breathe after every single sentence. The first episode we're going to be looking at today, Stormtrooper Miles doing a safety car seminar.
Meet Officer Friendly. If you make a mistake, he will be there to explain what you did incorrectly and give you a traffic ticket.
But watch out, if your main job is slightly darker than the average cup of coffee, the officer shithead will come in and just beat you up, not for no fucking reason. And while a bunch of spectators film you without trying to help. As expected with a car safety test, as with Johnny and EJ, it ends up being a Victory Road level disaster. Because of this, EJ ends up deciding to make a no rules club, because that makes sense. I don't like vegan foods, I'm gonna starve to death. After No Rules Club fails due to being more mismanaged than my video production schedule, Braylon ends up telling EJ about Elrod, a cousin of it, is and a participant of the Great Car War, who was banned from the city, although for not following the rules. Imagine if you spend a cup and your town fucking evicts you. The next episode we're going to be looking at starts off with something that turns out to be a lot more common than I remember. EJ being a fucking dick to everyone.
Wow, are you using that cheap gas again, Johnny? Hey, Maria, I wouldn't go in there if I were you. Looks like you've been putting on a little weight. Come on, everyone, move on up. Let's go, Professor. Or do we have to stick one of those big orange triangles on your...
Eventually, the professor says that EJ might have this thing called Center of the Universe Syndrome, which is basically science babble for EJ is an egotistical prick who no one should be friends with. EJ, however, ends up imagining himself as Goku, a sort of superhero ego. Where he can basically be Ezra Miller and commit as much property damage as possible.
Goku realizes that the mortals who inhabit this planet are incapable of comprehending his superpowers.
Like brunch. Like, what is brunch?
Eventually, he ends up exiling himself outside the city of Auto, as we get to see Elrod, whose voice I can best describe as one half of the team behind the show wanted him to have a Russian accent, the other half wanted him to sound like a redneck, and the voice actor saying, "Fuck it, I'll do both."
So, that cousin of mine must have been blabbing about me. Well, let me telling you, everything he told you about me is probably true.
All I want to try is to show EJ the benefits of being a degenerate and who spends most of his time on drinking gamer fuel while streaming it in the N-word at a Discord server or at an underage girl. But EJ, he realizes is that he can't ruin as many people's lives outside the city of Auto, so he returns home and leaves.
I think I owe everyone an apology.
Well, that would be a good start.
Who the you are?
The last episode we are going to be looking at today begins with some of the cars leaving the city of Auto, a public school, after EJ gets into a fight with one of the kids. EJ claims the truck he fought was being a bully, but after seeing EJ basically be a menace to society during this collection of episodes, I'm 99% sure the bully was just taking drastic action from EJ calling him slurs for the past week. As a result, the group are told they must do a random act of kindness for homework. Like Johnny allowing Miles to take his spot at car wash so he can be the first to try a new shine that nearly fucking kills him.
This is great. Besides, it hasn't been tested yet. Yikes.
EJ, however, can't decide on a thing to do. Oh, and whenever someone suggests him to do something kind, he pretty much says, "Nah, I'm trying to find something kind to do." Eventually, Izzy manages to trick Jay into helping her with her project because EJ is a twat. Who needs to be tricked in order to be a useful member of society. And one of his friends tell him to apologize to the truck that was bullying him earlier. And he gives the same amount of effort as the standard apology video.
Hi there. Sorry about the other day.
Yeah?
And I was just wondering if you needed any help or anything.
Now, you're probably thinking that I was just spending like 10 minutes talking about a talking car show. To get stupid kids to see and go, "Look, it's Mater!" Just another average, cheap cash. Wait a minute. October 2004? The cars came out in 2006. Well then, folks, get ready to buckle your fuckles and go Bray Wyatt. It's time we dive into the ought to be good rabbit hole. First off, there are no listed creators associated with this show. However, there is a company listed. Wet Cement Productions. Searching the company up leads to a closed animation studio in a Minnesota industrial complex. The company also made other shows. However, I couldn't find anything on the majority of their projects. Omega does have the benefit of an apparent making of DVD. Shoutouts to Ismail Gurov for uploading this and the compilation we looked at earlier. The second interesting thing is the different versions of their show. The Ought to Be Good website lists 3 different versions of DVDs. The Classic Edition, which I'm pretty sure are the DVDs I remember watching as a child. The Faith Edition, which seems to be the same as the regular DVDs but with Christian music videos.
Hey, do you guys have a second to talk about Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior?
And finally, the Education Edition for schools. Now, why would I mention this? Well, the version of the episodes I described to you and the one that I remember watching on my DVDs aren't the ones you'll find on YouTube.
You know what this means, Izzy? Professor's a superhero! Do you think he can fly? I don't know.
I wouldn't have thought he could even run fast.
These appear during the intermissions of the YouTube episodes. They're nothing special, it's just human versions of EJ, Izzy, and the Professor doing random things. According to the Making Up video, the segments were created to tie the episodes together and help kids watching relate to humans, I guess. But why are these additional storylines only on these uploads? Well, I have a bit of a theory. The Making Of video states that Red Cement were in talks with several TV companies in hopes of having the show on TV. My guess is that when you eventually did make the jump, the stations would cut out these segments to bring the runtime down so they can air more program. And when Wet Cement's assets were sold to Rising Star Studios, another dead Minnesotan production company. They didn't really see much work from these segments since they didn't air on TV. So the only ways to watch these segments would be through these uploads or the original 2004 DVDs. The last thing I want to talk about is the awards. When searching for the show, you'll notice that they like to mention its awards. Well, certainly it's 5 Emmys. Impressive, until you realize they're doing a bit of trickery. When you go on Rising Star Studios' website, it clarifies that these aren't the big primetime Emmy these people care about for some reason. These are regional Emmys. However, personally, I think they're lying out their ass on this too. Now granted, I wasn't able to find any nomination lists for these Emmys in 2006. Same with the apparent Aurora and Ellie Awards. The only awards I could officially confirm that ought to be good won were Dove Seal approvals. So it has the same status as No of the North in terms of awards. But think about this logically. If you created a show that won 5 Emmys, regional or not, wouldn't you be out there bragging about it to everyone instead of not taking any credit? But I'm not done yet. What if I told you that as far back as 2014, there's been another company outside of Rising Star or in Wet Cement that has been making money out of the Ought to Be Good product. This is Mike Huckabee, the former governor of Arkansas, a former presidential candidate.
We're gonna be best friends!
This is still better than me paying 2% more in taxes.
And a prominent figure at Everbright Media. One series of DVDs that Everbright produces is Rules of the Road. And it's exactly what you'll think it is. A bunch of repackaged Ought to Be Good DVDs with a new title and Mike's face slapped on all the advertising. And it gets even scummier. The Rules of the Road Facebook page proudly states that all their DVDs are free. In reality, however, Everbright is a subscription service that sends these cheap DVDs monthly to Facebook Republicans who probably only bought it because his face was on it. Basically, Everbright just took Jamster his history of scum, techniques for stupid bullshit, and translated it into DVDs. So to watch the show, you can either just Google the right name and watch about 4 hours of content, or you could give your money to a guy who looks like the humanized version of the phrase, "You darn kids get all off my property," all for an arcade cartoon that isn't originally made from them. What a great investment. Thank you all for joining me through this, fucking pain in the ass video to work on. Who knows? Maybe someone will watch this video has worked for Wet Cement or Rising Star or Everbright or whoever the fuck owns Ought to Be Good, and could shed some light on this show and other projects that the same people involved in it were in. I would like to know who the creators are. What were some of Wet Cement's of a project? Was there ever secretly planned is to make Oddly Good the next big franchise in Christian entertainment or something. You never truly know unless they come out. That's it for this video. This is RedBen12, signing out!